right, so you just read about how can we pivot data or reshape data from a longer format to a wider format. So let's go ahead and use that knowledge to work on this knowledge check. So the question or the task is, given the following data frame, reshape the data frame from the current long format to a wider format. So we can see right now, we have this data frame here where we have the name of the teacher, we have a variable, year, and then the value for that year, and then we have courses and the value for the courses. So the problem with this is we actually have two variables stacked on top of each other. We would prefer to have a separate column for the year variable, where the values for the year is underneath that, and then a separate column for the courses variable with the value of the courses or the number of courses taught underneath that. All right, so we want to reshape this so that we have this name column, but now we have a year column and a courses column. So let's go ahead and do that. And what we're going to use, we have this data frame DF, and we end up using pivot, right? And what we want to do is pivot from a longer format to a wider format. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and tell what is the index, or what is the kind of the reference column of interest here that we want to keep intact, and that's the name. So we're going to go ahead and do name. And then what I want to do is actually state the columns or the current variable that we want to be represented as the column names, right? So we want this variable here where we have year and courses, those values inside of it. We want those values to be the new variable names. So I need to say columns, and I'm going to specify variable, right? So I want to turn the variable column right now into two new columns containing the values in there. And then the next one is values, and I want to take these values in the value column and align it to their respective variables that we're creating. So this is going to be value. All right, so let's go ahead and just look. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to run this and kind of see what this provides as an output. And now we have a column here that contains the original names, and then we have a courses column, and then a year. So you can see when it pivots, it's going to take the values within this column that I specified, and it's going to just put them in alphabetical order from there. So we have pretty much what we want, but we can see that there's a little bit of, I guess, indexing or stacked hierarchical index values for the column's name. So what we can do is, let's go ahead and say reset index. And now we see we kind of flatten it down. So now we have our name, courses, and year. But you can see that what happens here is the variable, the name of that column that we basically unstacked, that gets assigned to the index name, right? So what we can do to resolve that is to just go ahead and say df.columns dot name equals none, and then we can go ahead and take a look at df, and now we see we've eliminated the name of our index, and now we just have our column names, and it's been widened from the original data frame to have the respective columns of interest.